This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance or training purposes.
This call may be recorded.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
I'm fabulous. It's Friday. How are you, Tatiana?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm always ready to go on a Friday. When it's a Friday and a Friday before a holiday, I'm like so excited.
What are your plans?
So, we actually have a lot going on because my husband's family is doing different this year. They're doing Thanksgiving on Saturday. And we always do Thanksgiving the Sunday before, just so everyone can make it. And so this weekend is basically Thanksgiving weekend for us. So we do Saturday Thanksgiving at his house, Sunday at my parents' house, and then I have a Friendsgiving on Monday. And then Thursday, I don't even know what we're doing yet. It might just be me and my husband and my 2 kids, which has never happened. That's crazy.
Eating hamburgers with turkey.
I know, right? I don't know how I'm going to have that kind of responsibility on my back to make all of the Thanksgiving dinner for my kids. They're not going to know what hit them if I start cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
How about you? Do you have any plans?
Well, I did, but they're kind of falling apart. My son and his wife were supposed to come home, but he had COVID. And so he had to use up some of his vacation time. So what he has left, they have already promised his wife's family to go to Texas. So that's not going to happen. Yeah. And then my daughter, who lives in Pittsburgh, she's about 2 hours away from me. She teaches school, and she was going to come here to my new place where I just moved on for Thanksgiving. But now she coaches. She's a CrossFit trainer, and so she trains on Thursday nights. And here, since there's no CrossFit on Thursday, she has to do it Friday morning. So I'm telling her, she'd have to leave here at 6 a.m. So kind of saying, I think it's better to stay home. I would, because I don't want her to rush and anything happens. So, so it's going to be quite. My best friend here where I live now, she's one of 10 children, and they always have Thanksgiving the following Sunday, so everybody can come. So everybody else.
Yeah, that's us too. That's exactly why we do it that way. Love it.
So he called me. She says, "Well, you're coming because you're family." I'm like, "Oh, I've never."
Oh, that's sweet.
So that's what my Thanksgiving. But we're not doing Thanksgiving though. She wasn't doing anything with Thanksgiving. So, but that'll be a gathering. Yeah.
So that's nice. So we're gonna be celebrating at the same time.
Yep. Well, no, mine's December 1st. Mine's the following week.
Oh, the weekend after. Oh, okay. Yeah. I kind of wish we did the weekend after, just because I feel like it still keeps the weekend going. Yeah. I wish we did that, but I don't know. This is how it's been the last few years. But we're gonna go see Wicked on Thursday, and I'm so excited. I just listened to Defying Gravity and I cried in the car. What?
Maybe that's what I'll do Thursday is go. I don't care. I'll go to the movie by myself. Go to Wicked. Maybe that's what I'll do.
See it, Deb. You got to see it. Then we can talk about it after.
We were just up in New York City last weekend. We went to the Radio Music City Hall and watched the Rockettes Christmas show, which is amazing. If anyone ever has an opportunity, it's amazing. But I saw where Wicked was up on Broadway. I'm like, oh, I want to go there.
Yeah, it's so good. It's the only Broadway play I've ever seen is Wicked, and it was amazing. Oh, I loved it the first time. It was so good.
Well, now I know what I'm doing Thanksgiving Day.
Yay! All right, Deb. I'm happy to hear about it. Well, I'm so excited that you're here. And so for anyone joining us today, Deb is actually our most senior coach, meaning she's got the most experience of everyone that you've seen on this show. We absolutely love our Deb. Wow. And so we're going to listen to some calls and we're going to chat about it, and let's just see what we've got. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Also, if you've never heard this show, this is the first time we've heard these calls. So we use our pattern for excellence, which is 8 principles: positive, prepared, listen, care, yes, ask, grateful, value. Oh, I did that out of order, but we got it. We got them all 8. We got it in there. So we're using those principles to lead us through these calls. So we're going to listen and see what we've got. Here we go.
Thank you for calling. This is Jasmine. How can I help you? Yes, I wanted to inquire about handyman job I needed done in my house.
Okay, and what type of work were you looking to get done?
I have multiple bathroom fixtures that need to be installed. Also,
Are you still hearing it?
Oh,
Would they
no,
need-
I muted myself. I forget that pauses it. My bad.
Oh, there you go.
Let's talk about what we have anyway so far. Also, Amber's joining us. Hi, Amber. She's one of our regulars on the show. Just so you know,
Hi, Amber.
we're so glad she's here. Okay, tell me what your thoughts were just in the first 25 seconds.
All right, we didn't get too far in the call yet. We were starting off positive and confident. Now, do we know what level the CSR is?
We do not. That's a good question. So yeah, for context, what that means is we've got in our program, we have 4 levels of mastery. And so if you level 4, we definitely have a higher caliber of expectation for what that would look like. What do you, maybe this is a mean question to ask. What level do you guess? If this was a level 1, okay, what would your thoughts be? Just assuming base brand new.
Well, what I thought we didn't even get to list yet. I know the customer is just said so far that I heard, because I know it stopped for a second, multiple bathroom fixtures. But if it was a level 1, I would have loved to hear a little bit more enthusiasm in her voice. It sounded very monotone. Just I would love to hear that. If it was a level 2, I would have loved to hear getting that name early. Right there, start connecting with the customer.
Right. Oh, I totally agree. Also, I got to highlight this because this is awesome. Amber is a level 4. Let's go, Woo! Amber. Woo! Amber, you need to come hang out with me on the show sometime. That would be so fun. I didn't know you were level 4.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Amber.
That's so cool. Okay, so I completely agree. That's a great point. I agree with the tonality. Like the first thing on any call, right? I feel like this is just standard customer service in and out of Power Selling Pros is tonality. And I agree that right now in the tone, it's really hard to get a vibe of excitement, of joy, of like, I'm ready to help. I don't really hear that yet. And I do hope that happens.
I actually kind of heard like, it was like, oh, here's another call. I got another call.
Right.
That's what I heard. That's the vibe I got. And we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, I'm going to back up just a tiny bit because I know you couldn't hear all of it. So let me go back, make sure we get everything.
Also, a mirror that needs to be hung, and a bookcase needs to be constructed.
Okay. So would they need a ladder to get to those fixtures?
No.
They would not?
No ladder.
Okay. So you're saying maybe about between 4 to 6 or more?
4 to 6 hours?
No, like 4 to 6 lights.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're not light fixtures. They're bathroom hardware fixtures. It's like the toilet paper holder, towel holders, towel racks.
Oh, okay.
We bought it from Home Depot, and then no problem, and just needed to have those installed on the walls.
Oh, okay. My apologies. So for something like that, you'll be looking between $350 and $450.
Okay.
For everything. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, what's your availability?
Okay, let's pause real quick. I love what Amber's saying in the chat. She said a suggested response would have been, she goes, I need some reassurance right there. And her idea was, yes, we can help with all of that. Do we need a ladder for the fixture? I completely agree that I would have loved to hear some really strong reassurance. And there was some miscommunication happening in there. So I definitely think listening, not necessarily, I mean, sometimes we miss what they say. So I don't think it's bad that we maybe misunderstand, but I wish she would have been a little bit clearer when she said, so 6. Maybe elaborate on that just a little bit more. Although I do think she sounded really sweet when she messed up and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. I felt, I liked that. I felt like she sounded really sweet at that moment. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, she got that's why we do probing questions. Customers will use certain words, certain terminology that might not be clear, and sometimes maybe we assume what they mean. So that's why we want to repeat back all that her list of everything is so important. And then asking those probing questions where she may not feel 100% of actually what she needed. I thought asking, do I need a ladder was a great question. And by using that question, she's like, oh, no. And then she's like, those are like bathroom fixtures, like toilet paper holder and those kind of things. So that was a good probing question because it really brought out the real need that the customer has.
I can see now why he was like, no, about the ladder. Now he's like, why would you need a ladder to install?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
that's so funny. All right, I've got a cough. We love that. Okay. Yeah, there was something else that happened right at the end that I wanted to point out, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm going to back it up just a tiny bit.
And her tone did change a little bit too.
I agree. Her tone is changing. It's lifting up a little bit. She's sounding a little bit more natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little more involved, engaged. Yes.
Agreed.
Okay.
For everything. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she gave the price. That's what it was. Let's talk about it. That's the one.
That's
all right.
Important.
Yes. And then there was another big thing too that happened right after. So first of all, we hear the price, and if I was the customer, I think what my biggest issue is I don't even necessarily know that this person understands what I'm asking for yet. Mm-hmm. And so to hear the price without any sort of explanation, without any sort of reassurance, can be a little off-putting. It's like, did you even hear, or is this the price for what I even asked for? Or is this for 6 light fixtures? Because just a second ago, we were on the wrong page, and now you all of a sudden have a price.
Right. So I just had a coaching session earlier today, I was sharing my example of working as a consumer with a particular home service where all they kept saying was, okay. I never felt that they knew what I was talking about, what I needed. And so she really never went over what this customer needed and went right to a price. And we know we always build value before we give a price, no matter what. That is no matter where we tell it in the call, even though we want to use it at the end, we want to follow that pattern. We never give a price without building value in our company.
Yeah, I got to highlight what Amber said because she matched exactly what you're saying. She put price before value. No.
Yay.
That's a level 4 for you. Yeah, that's a level 4. Yeah, and then I noticed that she, right after this, she pauses after the price in a way that not only invites a little bit of awkwardness in the call, but it also leaves the customer in a place where he feels like now he has to lead it. And so he's actually the one that says, okay, well, can we get on the schedule then?
Yeah, he's asking her what her availability is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 minutes left out of this call, which tells me there might be something that happens. And so I'm kind of wanting to listen to it, or do you feel like you want to go to a new one?
Let's continue. I'm curious.
Okay, me too. All right. Right, Amber, the CSR, it doesn't sound like she's leading the conversation.
Okay.
You gotta own that call.
And then what's your availability?
So I could either get someone out this afternoon, or it would have to be Friday at 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Do you have anything tomorrow afternoon?
He is booked tomorrow afternoon.
All right, okay. And then what time this afternoon?
1:30, would that work? 1:30?
Okay. Yeah, it'd have to be later because I don't get off work until about 3.
You don't get off until 3 o'clock?
Yeah, probably about 3.
Okay. Let me see. Give me 1 second, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right. So just for an update on timing, that we are at 41 seconds since the customer asked, when do you have availability? 41 seconds. So if you're looking to shorten your call time, Amber in the chat gave us a really good way to do that. Ask them what they're looking for, and she could have put them on hold way earlier. If that's what she ultimately needed to do to find the time, I'm not saying go put everyone on hold to look at the time, but I am saying if you're going to need to do that, if you realize you don't have the time that they want, you're going to determine that a lot earlier if you ask them what they're looking for.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a CSR, because I was a CSR before I became a coach, and that's, Power Selling Pros actually coached me. And when I learned the ask principle, and I teach it this way as well, it saves you time. It saves you that aggravation of going back and forth. If you just simply say, what's your schedule like? Or is there any, when would you like us out there? Or is there any day we need to stay away from? Do you have any restrictions? Find that out first. Even if they ask, well, when are you available? Well, I'd love to work around your schedule. When were you hoping that, what's your availability like? Take that information, then you can put them on hold if you need to, and be able to look at schedule instead of going back and forth and spending so much time. Sometimes when we do that, when we go back and forth at the end of the call, nobody knows what day we're coming, so
yeah.
Even if they ask you, well, what's your schedule like? Well, I'd love to work around yours. When are you available?
I love how you said that. I love how you said that this is for you. Like, this is going to save you time. It's going to make your life easier as the CSR. I actually had this discussion in a training just yesterday, and it was a pretty big group, and everyone pretty much agreed that asking when was not a good idea. And so it was my job to try and help them realize or convince them, you know what I mean? And I have my reasons, but I don't know that I've ever even said it in that way. And I loved that. I think that's a really
what was your pushback of saying when? What was the group you're with? What was
their biggest concern? Yeah, their biggest concern was just that asking when was going to set you up. No, I've heard this one before. It's going to set you up for failure, right? Like you're setting yourself up for failure. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. But they also added that they're like, why don't I just, like, because we discussed urgency list, right? They're like, why don't I just use the urgency list and ask when and tell them when at the same time before I ask them if they had it. And I had never really heard that argument. So I don't know that I was necessarily prepared for it. So maybe you tell me what your thought is. I guess so ultimately, to sum up, let me show you guys what we normally do at Power Selling Pros, and then what he was suggesting, and then we'll talk about it. Is that okay, Deb? Okay, so generally what we normally do at Power Selling is we say, when do you want us out? When we're hoping to get somebody out there, the customer tells us, right away. And we go, okay, great. Let me look at where you're located. Let me get your information. We'll absolutely take a look at the availability. What's your address? And then we jump into, okay, great, I do have it. Or maybe I say, okay, I'm going to get you on the urgency list. Okay, that's how we normally do things. So that was the suggested method. And he wondered why he couldn't just say, okay, I'm going to put you on the urgency list and I'll get you on the schedule for tomorrow. And just start there. Like, don't ask them what they want. Just say it. Just say it at the beginning. Right now, you probably would have gotten the address first. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are. What your thoughts are on that. Like, why does it matter?
All right. So here's my thought. So when I teach the ask principle, I teach it in 3 steps. First thing is ask what their availability is like, right? Find out. And again, it's not a guarantee. It's to better help you schedule. The second thing I ask, where are we going? Get their contact information. So now we know when they were hoping for us to get out there and where. And then the third thing is schedule. The other thing that I share with my CSRs is know your schedule. Know if you are scheduling out a day. If today's Monday and you're always scheduling for Wednesday, when you ask that question, instead of just saying, when do you want us out there? Mrs. Jones, I can get out there as early as Wednesday or any day after that. What's your schedule like? And then if you get put back, then use that tool. Don't use that tool, because I think if you use it on every call, you're not going to realize or have a good understanding that it is a tool to use when you're in a situation where somebody may not book. If we're saying it every time, we use it because we want to say, Mrs. Jones, I want to help you get faster service. What I want to do, I want to add you to my urgency list. Now, this is after I asked their availability. and where we're going. And explain the urgency list. Our urgency list is if a customer, reschedules today, or if we get a technician that gets done earlier, we're going to give you a call, see if you're available today. Now, in order to get you on my schedule, get you on the urgency list, I do need to put you on our schedule, which my first available is Wednesday between 8 and 10. Can I go ahead and add you that urgency list just to help you get faster service? So I use it as a tool. I don't want to just use it every time, and it doesn't become a tool to help somebody.
Okay, the thing that I think is so profound about, for me in my journey where I'm at with the urgency list, the thing I've never really articulated before is that it will be harder for the CSR to actually see it as a tool if they use it on every single call.
Exactly. It becomes a process. And I think they would lose. I feel like they would lose the momentum or the meaning of the urgency list.
Wow. I completely agree. With that. Thank you. That was a breakthrough for me for sure.
Oh,
I love that. Yeah, thank you. Amber also added a chat. She said a couple things. she said, Mandy is my coach, and everything everything she has instilled in me has me screaming at this call. At my screen is what she said.
I love it.
Okay. She also said, yes, I always know before the phone rings if I can schedule today or if it's going to be tomorrow or further out.
Exactly. Important.
Yeah. It's not that you don't know, it's that you just want to have the conversation. You want to make sure that you know before you say it if it's good news or bad news, basically.
Right. You want to be aware. That's bringing that second principle and being prepared, being confident, right? So that when you ask somebody that question, what's your availability, you're asking it where you're not setting them up for failure. Well, when would you like this out there today? Oh, we're booked. Now let's try another day, right? You need to be prepared. And that's bringing that second principle down into the fourth or sixth principle as well.
I don't mean to make this whole episode about this, but I appreciate you being willing to answer my questions. Because the other thing is, I also will say that I've gotten away from being like, I've got Thursday. Does that work for you, or would another day work better? I've got Thursday. What works for you? I've gotten away from that, but you like doing that, right?
What do you mean? I've got this or that?
Yeah. So like giving the dates or giving the times when you use an open-ended question.
Only when there's a restriction.
Okay.
Only if I know that today we're booked, I try to start off positive. Like I can get out there as early as Wednesday or the day after that. If they push back and say, "Oh, I was really hoping tomorrow," all right, great. Let me help you. Let's get your contact information. Let's see where we're going. Yeah, let's at least try to start off being positive. I can get out here and there, and if it's something they need sooner, if we haven't picked it up in the call prior to that. Before us asking the principal, then when they push back, then we go in with that tool.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Amber said, I also think having a tool of the urgency list helps us add additional services like our membership. That makes the customer have priority scheduling. That's true as well. Like priority scheduling doesn't really exist without a tool like the urgency list. And if you're using it on every customer, then it's not nearly as helpful. And you're going to overwhelm your urgency list. If someone doesn't need us out right away, we're fine. Like
and then you get everybody on tomorrow. Yeah, and then you get everybody on the urgency list who really needs to be there, right? We might be just offering if the customer doesn't really need it.
Right, totally. And the company I was working with too, they also had an emergency list. Like they had like for specific, like basically priority, right? They had like priority scheduling. And so it was different than the urgency list. So I'm like like emergency services where you're moving people around is definitely different than urgency. Urgency is more like your customer, they think the urgency is more than it is. So this is a way to give hope and keep track of who wants to be moved up earlier without making it less important.
And letting them know we're going up and beyond to do what we can. But if we do that on every call, they hear that every time. It loses the impact.
Okay, well, we've got 50 seconds left of this call. Let's hear it out. We just went on a 40-second kind of filler word, like searching through the schedule, awkward pause. So let's see what the last 50 seconds holds. Here we go.
Where are you? Are you in? Where are you in?
Yes.
Just
Near the
to figure it
intersection.
out. Okay, and what's your zip code? Okay. And a good phone number for you is,
Yes.
and your first and last name,
Is Ryan, Ryan.
and your street address. Perfect. Okay, I will get someone out there and take care of that for you. And you said 3 o'clock, correct?
Now, yeah, 3 o'clock. Okay. Right.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I wonder what he was going to say. That got cut off. All right. Yeah, I wish there's more value. I do think she sounds like as far as tone goes, she sounds like a soft-spoken person. So I did like her tone by the end. I thought she sounded sweet, she sounded kind, and those are the things that I think matter the most, especially because when I sound positive, I sound so loud. Like I'm such a loud positive, like he doesn't have to be loud every time. So I like that her calming, sweet tone. I think it does get better towards the end.
Yeah, I agree. But really, she started off positive and confident. I'm kind of giving it to her, but she didn't use any principles in that call, in my eyes.
Yeah. I agree. There was a lot of opportunity here.
Yes.
To build more with the customer, connect more. Ultimately, what happens without the principles is it sounds like transaction and not like a connection. And the problem with it sounding like a transaction is that it's really easy for the customer to leave when someone else comes around.
Right. Yeah. We do business with people we like.
Amen. Amen to that. Okay, we've got like 2 minutes left. Let's just see how much we can get through in the next call. I'm going to play a second call. Well, let's see which one's the shortest.
How can I help?
Hello, this is Jeff.
Oh, wait, this one's only less than 2 minutes long. Let's do this one.
Thank you for calling. This is Lisa. How can I make you smile today?
Oh my gosh, I'm jumping all around. Hold on, let me just find. Okay, here it is. This one's 1 minute and 40 seconds. Let's just go all the way through it.
Hello, this is Joey.
Good morning, sir. This is James.
Yes, sir.
Just giving you a quick call because we just received your parts for your follow-up repair here at
Fantastic.
Ashburn. Now, looking ahead, the earliest I would have available, unfortunately, would be Monday morning.
Oh, no. I need you guys here this week. No, I need you guys here, at least by tomorrow. I mean, we've been with you guys for 10, 12 years. So, yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to do tomorrow just due to the length of the repair. It's going to be about a 3-hour repair.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, we've been having some issues here with my wife having surgery on Monday and just trying to keep the house cool. And luckily, last night, this morning is nice, but.
Yeah, I could make something happen Friday afternoon. That would be the earliest I would be able to make happen would be Friday, like 12 to 3 arrival. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do anything tomorrow. My parts and repair guy is already fully booked. And he has 2 half-day repairs.
Okay. I mean, Friday at noon is good.
Okay. I will go ahead and get this set up, and we will see you on Friday afternoon.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so for a lack of time to review this call and give it the proper attention it deserves, I would love to know overall, maybe a couple points that stood out to you the most.
Negative. I can't. So there's no reassurance. Did not repeat back the issue. You just said we received your parts. We need to, when we're doing those outbound calls, we need to say, hey, we got your parts in for your air conditioner that hasn't been cooling. I know it's been I'm sure it's been frustrating, but we got them in. We're ready to get this scheduled. How soon are you available? What's your schedule like this week? I mean, just even the basic right there was not used.
Yeah.
And so the customer is very upset. If he would have discussed with him, had some communication with him, even if he used empathy, he probably said, yeah, my wife has surgery. I'm trying to keep her cool. That probably would have came up there and showed that urgency. And he should have acted on that. So.
Yeah. As Amber was saying the same thing, like care. Amber's feeling very passionate about this in the chat. Her heart is hurting. Stab me in the stomach, I think is what was said. Okay. So yeah, the two things for me on top of what you've already said that would stand out, I think is one, he immediately, we go back all the way to what you were saying. First off, he didn't know what was wanted. And because of that, when he offered what he had, well, he did know what was wanted to a degree. You can tell because when he offers what he had, he says it like it's the worst news anyone could possibly get. He's like, unfortunately, I don't have anything till Monday. Like, no one's going to think Monday is good when you preface it like that, right? Now, Monday doesn't sound good at all. No offer of urgency list. I'll let you know if anything opens up sooner. We're going to do everything we can. Like, nothing like that. So I didn't love that he said it like it was bad news. The other thing was, they were cutting each other off a little bit as they were talking, like the CSR and the customer were both doing it. But the worst part was when he mentioned the surgery and he cuts him off and says, oh, well, the best I can do is Friday. Then the way that he brings that up, it put two questions in my mind. One was, why didn't you offer Friday first? Why now are you offering Friday? I feel like you should have done that first. And two, again, why is it given like it's bad news? Like there's still bad news because you just you shaved off 3 days. Yeah, that's great news to do Friday instead. That's awesome. Help them know that how awesome that is. Like at least this week is great, And the customer, of course, is going to have frustrations with that, but there's definitely a way we can have the conversation without it sounding so negative.
Listening and care, you can avoid all that. That's all I have to say.
That's all we have to say. In fact, that's a great note to end on. Yay. Mic drop, listen, care. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Amber, for participating. This was a good call.
Amber.
It was a good one. Yeah, you're the best, Amber. Let's talk. Seriously, you should email me. I'll find a way. I'll talk to Mandy, but you should come on the show. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.